Welcome back to E-Day Learning, second day. I'm going to be going through the first about 4 sides of this review packet with you today, and I'll give you the rest of the class to finish it up. So we're going to start with the vocabulary. You should be making corrections, and then submit a picture to me of the first 4 pages that you did. Ratio is a comparison of 2 quantities by division. A proportion is 2 equal ratios. The extremes would be A and D. The means would be B and C. An extended proportion, you should just have something like compares 3 or more ratios, like A to B, B to C, C to D. Similar polygons are polygons with congruent corresponding angles and corresponding sides with the same ratio. And the geometric mean of 2 numbers, so we would say B is the geometric mean of A and C if A over B equals B over C and B is equal to the square root of AC. An example of the side splitter theorem would be A over B equals C over D. The angle bisector would be something like this. A over B equals C over D. This over this, this over this. For number 1 in lesson 7.1, 8 inches to 1 foot would be 8 to 12, because you have to change it to inches, which you'll get 2 to 3. For number 2, you've got 2 ounces compared to 2 pounds and 2 ounces. So change 2 pounds and 2 ounces to 34. So you would get 2 to 34 ounces, which will give you 1 to 17. For number 3, the width is 28 inches to 12 foot 6 inches, which is 150, which means you would have 14 to 75. Now, we're going to go on to questions where we're dealing with some of the proportions again. We have the perimeter of a rectangle is 280. The ratio of the length to width is 4 to 3. So how we're going to set this up is we're going to take a 4x and a 3x, but remember this is perimeter, so we have to go all the way around, plus 4x plus 3x has to equal 280. That means you'll have 14x equals 280, so that x has to equal 20. Then it says find the length of the rectangle. The length is 4x, so the length is 4 times 20, or 80. Again, the reason we had to do this was because we had a perimeter, so we had 4 equal sides. For number 5, the ratio of the lengths of the sides of a triangle are 3 to 6 to 8. 3x, 6x, 8x. There are only 3 sides. That equals 510. This will give us x equals 30 when we solve. And so the sides would be 90, 30 times 3, 180, 30 times 6, and 240. To solve a proportion, you're going to cross multiply. So for number 6, you'll do 52x equals 52, x equals 1. For the next one, you'll have 40 times x equals 16 times x, 2x plus 1. 40x equals 32x plus 16. 8x equals 16, so that x equals 2. That's for number 7. Don't forget to multiply by each part using the factor or distributive, excuse me. For the next question, you're going to cross multiply again. You'll have 9 times 70 equals 9 times 10. Excuse me, 9x times 10. And when you multiply these, you should get x equals 7. Again, during the office hours, if you have any questions, contact me. Number 9, you have x plus 1 over x plus 1 equals 10 over 14. If you cross multiply these, you get 14x plus 14 equals 10x plus 10. When I take away here, I'll get 4x equals negative 4, x equals negative 1. And at this point you might say, okay, well x is negative 1. Problem is this. If x was negative 1, you'd have a denominator of 0 here. You can't have a denominator of 0. No solution. And the final question here, number 10. Again, just multiply, you get 50x equals 210. When you simplify that, you're going to get 21 over 5. If you change it to a decimal instead, that'd be fine, 4.2. For number 11, x over 6, you were replacing the z with the 6, so it would be equal to z over 5. Again, x over 6, z over 5. For number 12, you're adding the z on top, so you would add the 5 on top. You would have x plus z over z equals 6 plus 5 over 5. Next page, you have corresponding angles and the extended proportion of the sides. Angles, you're going to start, just use the statement. Angle D is congruent to angle Z. Angle A is congruent to angle W. Angle B is congruent to angle X. And angle C is congruent to angle Y. Then do the same thing with the sides. DA over ZW equals AB over WX equals BC over XY. And then the last side would be CD over YZ. That similarity statement tells you everything that lines up, and that's what's important to be using. For number 14, you're going to check the sides. They all have the same ratio. It's 3 to 4.5. Then you compare angles. I would probably start at the top, and you're going to have M, N, O, P is similar to U, R, S, T. The scale factor would be 3 to 4.5, which would be 2 to 3. We're comparing the first one to the second one. Because these are similar in more than one way, we could also have this statement, instead of URST, we could have it as STUR. Would work as well. For number 15, there's not enough information. You only have 2 angles, so no. And number 16, it is not, because the sides do not form the same ratios. You have 2.5 to 3, 2.5, 3 to 3, 6.4 to 9.6 and 6 to 9, those are different. It will not work. In the diagram below, the scale factor would be 5 to 6. We use the statement, which is P, R, Q, D, E, F. And since we have 20 to 24, we could do 5 to 6. 18, angle D would be 56 degrees. 19, angle R is 35 degrees. 20, angle P is 56 degrees. 21, angle, or DE is 48. And 22, 43.2 for FE. And you set those up as proportions. Again, if you need to check with me on those. (23), it says find the scale factor of the polygons. You have a statement ABCD is similar to TSVU. So I would probably set it up as 17 to 25.5. Don't worry about those other missing things. The variables are going to make it more difficult. So do 17 to 25.5. If you were to simplify that, it would give you 2 to 3. I will stop at 23. You should tonight finish up 24 to the end of the review packet, and then we'll go over that one tomorrow. Thanks for your second day.